Yo, you know what that reminds me? It's like Kate's been really into making fun of Dory doing the whale noise. Whale. And she does it really funny. She's like, whale. And then she's like, no, mama, whale, Dory, mama.
Oh, she's so cute.
I was like, yo, I get it.
She's so cute. Does she have like a little Dory stuffed animal or anything?
She does have this like kind of plastic thing, but the latest is fucking, now she's into like Madagascar.
What?
And then
I like to move it.
Yeah, and selfishly, I was kind of jazzed about Inside Out 2. So I made her watch Inside Out 1, which is kind of a little intense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like for little kids, it's like, huh?
Well, she's kind of like, Mama, sad. Girl, sad. And you're thinking to yourself, well, duh, bitch, that's the emotion.
Yeah, get with the program.
God, what are you, 2 or something? No, but it's actually a fantastic movie. And then I was laughing because I told you that I came home after poor fucking James had to watch her all day while I was like sitting on a boat like a diva.
Woo.
And he was watching it. And I was like, oh, is she into this? And he was like, I'm finishing the movie, Bridget. He said that to me. I was like, okay.
It's like, I'm taking notes on the emotions. So that
good luck, sir.
It all makes sense. Well, I heard good things about Inside Out too, so
I'm excited to see it.
I don't know. There's anxiety. LOL. That's a joke. That's a great time.
I just love the idea of personifying feelings.
Yeah.
In your brain. It's so cool.
Yeah. Helps little kids.
But not problem kids, right?
Not the... Yeah, we'll talk about their emotions. Wow.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
Hi there.
Welcome back, listeners. Is that your John Ritter impression? And I like that.
No, I don't know.
Oh.
He kind of has a higher voice. He's like, hey,
Junior, hey! I feel like it's always like the intensity. Oh God! All right. We want to get into the movie clearly, so I'm going to introduce ourselves because we're not problem childs. I don't think. Maybe we were once, but we're not now.
Maybe.
I don't know. But we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
They look like a couple of yahoos. First quote out of my notes, that's what we get. Ooh. And Bridge, what's the movie this week?
It is the 1990 classic Problem Child.
Oh, he's a problem, all right. Wow.
I have some feels with this one. I can't wait to get into it.
Did I get emotional for 1 second? Perhaps.
Oh.
Perhaps I did.
Just one
Bridge?
second. 1
Just
second?
one. Maybe two. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know whose synopsis this is. Oh my God, I think it's yours. No, I think it's yours.
God
no,
damn it.
I think I did Lost World. Oh, thank God.
Mother goddamn God.
Well, I do want to, I can start us off by just saying this was a Universal Studios picture. Very grateful. There is not, you rarely hear me say this, listeners, grateful there is not a Universal Studios ride of Problem Child, because I would be very nervous about that.
Okay.
Okay. Just had to let that out. All right.
A childless couple adopts a young red-headed terror in this family comedy.
What? Why did they include redheaded? What are they trying to say?
I think people are mean to redheads. I'm just gonna say it.
They don't have any souls,
it's a controversy. What I learned from this movie, in terms of a synopsis, is that Junior, played by Michael Oliver, hysterical looking at this person as an adult in the cast.
Oh my god, wait, I want to see him as an adult. Do you have a picture?
I mean, I'll share my screen, but
I'm nervous.
You could Google it.
He stopped acting when he was a kid.
Hold on.
Not that! No!
Right here, look at it.
It's
Look
a
at
weird
it.
mustache and goatee, and I hate it!
He's kind of a little like Kevin Smith,
With the 90s haircut.
Yeah. We're gonna stop that share.
How did we get here? Okay.
So we got here, and here's what I learned about Problem Child. There is a child. He's a problem. Okay? His name is Junior. And it's very sad because as young as possible, like literal baby, he gets just kind of abandoned.
Like multiple times.
I know, and I wanted to talk to you about this because I had some feels for Junior.
Yeah.
And in the 1990s, the way that was funny is first we drop it at a rich person's house. And then, ew, they don't want it because the babies inconvenience them. And then we drop it at, like, a nunnery. I don't know.
I don't even know.
And then that's, like, kind of annoying. And then we drop it at, like, a couple that has infertility issues. And then that's kind of annoying for one of the spouses, but the other's fine. And this poor frickin' kid is just being literally rejected and responding appropriately to the rejection, but taking it a little too far for people to deal with his absurdities, which I think the movie did really, really well in terms of how do you determine what's bad, right? What makes a kid a problem? They did really, really well, I think, and I can't wait to get into that with you. But at the same time, he also, learned he had a good father figure and what that meant and how sweet that was to his life, and just kind of learned what it meant to be loved. And I know that's not what probably was anticipated from this film. It was supposed to be just about a kid being ridiculous and funny, but it kind of hit me in the feels. I was not anticipating it, and that's my synopsis, Kate.
That was great, Bridge.
Thank you, Kate.
In my just quick, not a synopsis, but quick summary is, I don't think this kid is that much of a problem as he could have been.
She said it.
I'm sorry. As the adult who gets the panic walkie-talkie calls or phone calls of help, crisis mode. I mean, the worst thing that he did, I would say, is probably
bulldoze the house.
Oh, well, that
trailer was pretty bad. Bulldozing the trailer.
That was bad. That's probably the most monetary damage. Hopefully no one was inside. We don't know. We don't see anything. But I was going to say, guess where he just beats up all the children with bats, and it's done off screen, and I thought that was the funniest fucking scene of my life. But I don't know. It could have been worse, I think. And it was interesting. But I do agree with you on the fact that he's got a really sad backstory that they play for laughs. And the whole beginning is, him just being, passed along, and not as only an infant, but to the point where he's, 6 or 7, and people are still abandoning him. And, what? Hello? Where's the state? They don't get involved until many years later, and I don't know why everyone's just really comfortable dropping babies off at houses they don't know. Let me know. I hate it.
It was sad.
Yeah. And the first reason he gets rejected from a family is because he pees on someone. He's a baby. I mean, his life could have been he could have been success child had somebody not gotten upset about the peeing. I'm just saying.
How do we start? How do we get into it? Because you're right about the peeing, and there was rain, and there's a lot of water. So what do we do?
One thing I also want to just say, which doesn't really play into the movie at all, but I thought this was really fucking funny and ridiculous, is the Beach Boys wrote an original song for this movie called Problem Child, and then it plays over the credits, and it's not that good of a song, and I was like, why did this happen?
Holy fucking shit.
Who's friends with who?
Who's
been blackmailed? Why does this exist? I don't know.
Listen, what has been interesting and we will get to it later, is as we get close to our 200th episode.
Woo! Yes.
I would religiously take notes. I would watch a movie and I'd be like, note, and I'd pause the movie and I'd play the movie and I'd pause it and I'd play it and I'd
wow.
And then I learned that I wasn't like experiencing the movie with that.
Yeah.
So then I kind of let loose a little bit. I'd take your cue. I'd watch you kind of loosen up about how you watched it and whatever.
Yeah.
And in the first 8 minutes of the movie, I thought to myself, oh my god, this poor kid.
Poor kid. Yep.
Has gotten abandoned and sold, and it was literally like a little like slavery experience for 8 minutes of him being like, oh, he's good at this, sold, good at that, oh, he can do this, oh, and you know, and then we get to John Ritter and wife to be like, okay, he's actually with a family. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't need to take notes anymore. Like, I was like, okay, now I know it'll be like kookadookies, but I know John Ritter's gonna try to hang on. And that felt pretty much like the plot.
John Ritter is definitely the best part of this movie. The kid's pretty good too, although it doesn't seem like he's done much, if any, acting since this movie, which makes me, I don't know, that's interesting. So then I'm kind of like, were you acting, or are you this little snarky boy, and that's why you got this role? We'll never know, because now you're a man with weird facial hair. I suggest you think about that a little more. Just my 2 cents. But yeah, he ends up with nuns. Why did we love nuns in the 90s? I cannot name a current day movie that highlights nuns, except if it's like an exorcism movie or shit. But besides that, we just love the nuns in the 90s. And we like to laugh at the nuns. And we laugh at the nuns in this one, I would say.
They're terrible, though, aren't they?
No, they are.
Cheer on him leaving because they hate him so much.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And like, they're like, you gotta clean up, and then he's just doing, like, little shenanigans, and, you know, he's like a prankster kid. Like, if Junior, you know, was a kid today with the nuns, he'd have his own YouTube channel, or TikTok. He'd probably have lots of followers, and he'd probably be like, I'm off on my own, everyone, goodbye, and I think he'd be okay, but we don't have that. We just get in trouble for pranks, and the nuns are rude.
You know what, though? Wait, let's talk about the pranks. So, the pranks, when in my mind, you have levels, right?
Yeah.
You have, you sit on a whoopee cushion, fart prank.
LOL.
And then you have, Katie, I shared your deepest, darkest secret. Oh, whoa, bad prank.
Don't like that
and
prank.
He was kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
He kind of would, for example, get a little bit of an inch and take a mile.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd say like, hey, Junior, clean up this blah, blah, blah. We're going to leave you alone to clean it up. And then he'd laugh and just watch TV and fall in love with a murderer with a bow tie.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
And learn about how, if I wear a bow tie, maybe I'll get adopted.
Oh, God.
And I thought to myself, yeah, who the fuck wants to mop some nun's apartment? I kind of get it. But at the same time, if you're judging the mopping, yeah, you blow, kid. You got to get that done. And the movie did a really good job on picking what was a quote-unquote problem that he would create that wasn't actually mean. It was very much in response to how he was treated. And
which I liked.
It was a sense of justice from some, 10-year-olds? I mean, how old would he have been, right?
I think he's 7 in this movie.
Oh my god.
And
so good.
No, I did like that. Like, any person who gets something that happens to them from Junior is always someone who was like a jerk.
A jerk. Totally.
First, or maybe even a step above a jerk. And not that we condone pranks or violence on this podcast, but in fictional movie lands, it's okay.
And I forgot about him bouncing as like a pick me, I'm an adopted kid. Pick me. Yeah. Home to home to nunnery to home. And I totally forgot that the only reason John Ritter convinced his wife to adopt him was because the neighborhood would invite her over for dinner.
I was like, ma'am, join a book club. I don't know what to tell
I was like,
you.
1990
worst
problem,
motivation for having a
and
child.
it's called using your kids to make friends.
Oh,
what?
my
what?
God.
Katie, what?
And, they don't, show that motivation for her right away, because when you first see John Ritter and the wife is named Flo, by the way, and the only Flo's I know is the lady from Progressive and the bitch who comes to me every month, and that's it. So I don't know who else is named Flo, but this lady was. And they're in a fertility, gynecologist, OBGYN, I don't know, we're somewhere, and so you're like, that's nice, they're planning on having a baby, and the fucking first thing that this doctor says, I almost feel like this is a trigger warning for people who are, looking to get pregnant and maybe you're having a hard time with it, because spoiler alert, that's the road we're going down, and the guy goes, well, you're positive, and they're like, that's great, and he goes, no, that's bad, and they're like, positive is good, and he goes, you're positively infertile. What?
I cannot.
Are you? I said somebody revoke this man's medical license. This is out of control. I'm reporting him on Google.
Wait, sir, positive is good. He's like, not in this case.
And then he gets out a glass uterus and breaks it, and he's like, that's your ovary. And I was like, everything's wrong. I hate it. My God.
When he created the he was literally looking at a physical ovary diagram, and he kept breaking it, and it kept falling.
Yes.
He did it so well. I thought, oh my God, how many women have experienced this? I cannot.
Probably too many, and I hate all that for them. And that's the setup. So you kind of think oh, they both want a child, and this is sad. They can't have one. And then, later you're like, oh, she's sad because she didn't get invited to a child's birthday party. Okay.
Well, and what was so funny to me is Gilbert motherfucking Gottfried.
Thank God you're here. All the 90s movies, I know I can on you, Gilbert.
Fucking actor.
Wow.
In 1990, shows up as the superficial lawyer.
He's a lawyer? I thought he worked for the foster system.
I was like, the foster system?
You're doing a terrible job. Yeah.
But he kind of persuades them as, hey, I know that you can't have children on your own. So sorry. But anyways, we have lots of kiddos, and this one wears a bow tie. Check this guy out. And John Ritter's like, yeah. John Ritter's so jazzed to be a dad. He's like, yeah. Oh, and also the dinners, and also superficial shit. And yeah, let's do it. I laughed so hard because for the first time as an adult, I was listening to the kid kind of respond to how the adults would talk about him. So with Gilbert Gottfried, when he would make a joke about how to positively explain how great he was, he's like, that's really smart of you to explain that I'm not terrible. And that's how he would talk. I laughed so hard. I thought, this kid is literally giving us closed captioning for this film. And it's so fucking funny.
Yeah, and that kid did a really good Gilbert Gottfried impression as well, I just gotta say.
God,
I wonder if that was his audition for this movie. It was amazing. And I was like, damn, you're good. But somehow this leads to, Gilbert Gottfried being like, I got a 7-year-old. And at first Flo is like, no, I want a baby so people think I had the baby. Bitch, people know you didn't have the baby. What do you mean? They have eyeballs. My God.
Gilbert Gottfried has the best response. He goes, listen, I understand you might want a baby. But can I tell you, babies throw up, they poop, they don't sleep. And you know what? You want to do those things. And in my head, with a 2.5-year-old, I'm like, take the fucking 7-year-old.
God damn it.
Sounds
Gilbert
amazing.
making good
take
points.
The 7-year-old. It's hard not to sleep.
He knew his audience. And John Ritter is just, he's so happy. Life is good. And then this is the moment where I was like, oh yeah, we're in the 90s, because we see John Ritter and Flo, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure they drove a station wagon that our mom used to have at the time. So that's cool. But he then, like our mom, whips out a handheld camcorder to record their precious moment on VHS forever and always. And yeah, Junior's first response, because he also narrates a little bit throughout the movie, which I didn't love at first because I was like, it's gonna be annoying, but then I actually did like it because you kind of heard some of his inner thoughts and feelings, and I was like, that's important for us to hear.
He was weirdly mature for his age.
Yes.
Sadly mature for his age.
Yeah, because he would make comments like, well, nobody wants me, and blah, blah, and you're like, oh, shit, you're, like, aware, and that's sad, which I do think is kind of the reality for a lot of kids that I don't think adults always recognize. You think, like, he's not gonna know what's going on, or whatever, but, like, yeah, kids are pretty perceptive. They know stuff, so. Anyway, his first response is my quote from before, they look like a couple of yahoos. And then he says something about, like, John Ritter's dressed in all blue, and he goes up and he's like, hi, my name's Junior, my favorite color's blue, and John Ritter's like, my I was like, oh my god, this fucking movie is crazy.
Well, what was so kind of cute is how pessimistic Junior was at adults, right? Mm-hmm. He's only been taught adults are terrible and mean people.
He's got good reason not to like adults.
He got good reason, and then John Ritter comes around and he's like, oh, I made fun of him. Oh, he's like nice. Oh no, he's like a lovely person.
Yeah.
And you start to side with Junior in the sense of like a moral compass, in the sense of, this kid is not about just being bad to be bad. He supports people who are kind. Yeah. And he realizes that the mom who adopted him doesn't care about him, but the dad who adopted him does. And so he's nicer to him, and that's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
I know it's obvious, but it's just, when you're watching the movie, you're thinking, he's a problem child, so it's going to be bad no matter what, because he likes being bad. But he doesn't. It's just kind of sad when you start to see him being loved and then be better to somebody that loves him. It's so sad.
Well, and I think it also was very realistic that a lot of times, again, kids don't have a lot of forethought in their decision. Their frontal lobe is not developed, doesn't develop till we're 25, people. Where they're not thinking about how the choices they make, even if it has nothing to do with someone, might affect someone that they do care about. Because that is what happens a lot, is he's doing stuff not directly to John Ritter, but to other people, and then eventually that does have an impact to John Ritter, and that's when he takes a moment and reflects and is like, oh shit, I messed up. But I would say the first big thing that happens with his new family is he's brought to the house. The wife has a cat named Fuzzball. Feel like that's not what she would name her cat, but fine. And then a parrot named Polly. And I don't know. It's just there. And then they are like, here's your new room, son. And it's a fucking clown room. And I wrote, are these parents serial killers?
Okay.
Because what are we doing?
The clown room was out of control.
Where did we get all the clown supplies, people?
It was so bad. And to your point on, these are a couple of yahoos. I was like, John Ritter, you're supposed to be the one that has it together. This is not together.
We're not together.
Is insane. And that was what was so funny about the kid, is the kid was like, this is fucking nuts.
He's like, somebody help.
I don't know why I'm thinking about, who is the fucking famous actor, Tiffany Haddish? You know her? She was in foster care. And I imagine the personality that she has as, like, if she got adopted by a family, it's like, here's a clown room. I just imagine her being like, what the fuck is this shit? This is weird, guys.
She just goes together, jumps out the window and steals the car and is like, anyway, I gotta
go, guys. This is fucking weird. I know you, like, adopted me, but this is a clown room. And I will say that once I saw that room, I thought to myself, I would never sleep in that. I'd be so afraid.
So scary! Oh my god, the clowns are like moving by themselves. I was like, this is the worst. Nobody has seen it, clearly, in this family. Get it together, people. But we don't have time for that, Bridge, because they leave him in the clown room. And then Grandpa, who sucks so hard.
And hates him. And definitely is like, this 10-year-old's a liar. Not to mention his trauma. I'm gonna judge him as an adult by treating him like an adult. I'm like, what the fuck?
He's such a jerk to him. He's like, oh, that's like not a real kid. kid because he's 7 and, it's gross. And then Junior, I don't love this choice because I got worried about the cat. He throws the cat at Grandpa and Grandpa falls down the stairs, but nobody dies that we know of. I don't know. And then the best part of this whole thing is then you see, it's a whole hoop-de-doo. There was a fire in the clown room, which needed to happen, thank God.
Thank God. The
cat's alive. I think it has, a cast, and it's hate it. I should hate that Grandpa also, has a cast, but I don't, because he sucks. And John Ritter then, instead of being gosh, Junior, because that's what Flo's like. Flo's like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? John Ritter's like, poor Junior. This is traumatizing. And I was like, yes, John Ritter. That's right. We need to look through the lens, trauma lens, look through it. You're doing it well, sir. Thank you so much for your kindness. And that's kind of the start of their father-son relationship, which is very interesting. And then Junior at night, I don't know if it's that same night or something, but he's snooping around the house, and even then John Ritter finds him. He's like, oh, hey, buddy, no problem. I know it's kind of scary sleeping in a new place. He's like, let's hang out. And then he's like, oh, that's mom's secret drawers. You don't have to go in there. And it's porn magazines. And I was like, oh, not in the living room. Jesus.
But in 1990, so it was
like
printed
Fabio,
magazine of hot men without shirts on. I can't. That's so weird.
Wait, we should talk about the serial killer subplot, cause...
Okay, who was Kramer from Seinfeld? The character.
Was he playing himself?
He was, but I guess the whole story of him is he's a true murderer.
Yes.
And he is the king of the prison on clout, so to speak.
I don't believe he'd be the king of prison personally.
I don't
Not that I've been to prison.
But all the prison folks are like, you killed everybody. Sir, if you need a cigarette, we'll all run and get you a cigarette. We are your bitches. Then Junior sees his interaction with news reporters as he's going into trial for being convicted of all these murders and sees his little bow tie and thinks to himself, I have some direction in my life. And it's going to be Kramer with that bow tie. And now,
it's going to be a bow tie.
And the nuns were like, listen, bitch, you can be as nuts as you want, but little Tommy over there got adopted because he's nice. And if you want to be fucking nice, you got to get adopted. And then Junior's like, algorithm, okay. If I wear a bow tie like that serial killer, I'll look as cool as I thought he did.
Well,
he does.
And he also makes a comment where he's like, wow, this guy's on every channel. Everyone must like him. Yeah. And I was like, God damn it again. This is how people in America think. You're on news channels all the time. They think you're important to be like you. And that's just not the lesson we should learn, you guys. But
it's not the lesson we
should
learn.
This is a subplot. And throughout the movie, Junior's writing notes to prison. How does he know the address? Who taught him how to write? Where do we get stamps? None of it's answered. He's sending pen pal notes. And the serial killer doesn't know it's a child writing him notes. He thinks it's a grown man. You guys?
I love it. I love it so much.
What the fuck is going on? So, okay. Junior's in our life. We go camping. This is where we meet more jerk people. There's a lot of terrible people in this movie, I gotta say.
Horrible people.
These are the neighbors who, there's 5 kids or something ridiculous?
Yeah, I'd say that.
They go camping and the dad's like, yeah, it's kind of whatever. It's not a real kid, but I guess you're a dad. And I'm like, why do people keep saying that? That's terrible. And then the other kids are mean to Junior. And that's when Junior is like, I'm gonna pee on the fire.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna attract a bear.
Yep.
And it escalates quickly. And again, no deaths! Just shenanigans with the bear. But I did get a little nervous that they put this 7-year-old actor in front of a live bear. Because that looked fucking real.
Did that look real? Because I was thinking to myself, too, wait a second. How the fuck did they do that? Do you think it was that green screen? Or you think that was, they were in it?
I feel like that was a real bear. And even with, John Ritter, I was like, Be careful, you guys. I'm scared. But no one dies. And John Ritter just kind of leaves that and is like, oh, what a great camping trip. Like, hooray, go team. It's like, okay.
I will, you know my husband, but I kind of got John Ritter vibes with my husband.
I mean, that's not a bad thing.
It's really cute, but it was so like, Junior, no matter what you do wrong, I love you. And
it's like, we're going to go fishing and camping and be together forever.
And then Junior's like, oh, you like literally love me. Okay. But I also can't just like get rid of my personality to be like, Lottie frickin' da with you. So it's a lot of like under his breath or when John Ritter leaves or, kind of behind his back. However, each scene, he is becoming a little bit of a better person. And that's adorable.
Yeah.
Right? In the scheme of just being a neglected kid.
Listen, I know, I've said it once, I'll say it again, alright? Because this happens a lot with children in movies we watch. Junior would be my friend if he went to my school. He'd be one of the kids. One of the kids I see each week. He'd make snarky jokes. I'd probably giggle at them. Probably have to talk to him a lot. I'm sure he'd hang out with the principal. But, like, we'd be buddies. And I just feel like I know so many kids like this. It's like the classic ODD, and usually, like, they do have some type of, like, not great family history or parenting history or bloody blue. And yeah, it's like these kids just want to, like, be liked. And they feel like they're hard for people to like, but if people like them, then they kind of open up and life is better for them. And I do love so goddamn much. And when you look up this movie, I feel like this image pops up immediately is he goes to a child's birthday party. I don't know what the theme is. It doesn't seem like it's Halloween, but it's a costume party and he's dressed as the devil. John Ritter, the supportive dad, said, absolutely, we're going to dress you like the devil. No question about it. You came from the nuns. We're dressing like the devil. Let's fucking go. And he even drew really silly eyebrows and a mustache on him. And I loved it. I thought it was a great costume.
I mean, okay, so when we see the kid's birthday party, which was the girl, right? Whatever
this girl was, her name was Lucy, and she was a jerk.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, at first you meet Lucy, and you're thinking, oh, what a cute little girl. It's her birthday party. And then you see her start to be, like, a little mean to Junior alone. And then you see her kind of, like, take it to the next level. And then you see her be, like, very directly on, I hate you, I don't want you here.
She bullies him because he's adopted. That's a fucking hip in the state of New Jersey, ma'am. Okay? Absolutely not.
And then you see Junior just be like, oh yeah? Let's fucking do this. And then he's like terrorizes her birthday party, and John Ritter's like, oh no, what happened?
Well, and before that, John Ritter goes, I'm going to give you something. This actually would be your husband, Bridget. I'm going to give you something really special from my family that my grandpa gave me, and it's a fucking prune. And he goes, it's just a dehydrated prune, but I've had it forever, and I think grandpa was a little senile and gave it to me, but anyway, now it's yours, Junior, and I know you're going to protect it. And Junior does! And it's so random, and I don't understand. The montage scene, though, there's a lot of things he does at the birthday party. The way that they fucking filmed it and edited it was like, I thought it was kind of weird, though. I didn't love the editing.
Well, tell me why.
Because I felt like every other scene, it would cut back to the little girl crying, but you don't hear her crying because there's silly music playing. And in my head, I was like, this is a montage for like... that was it, yeah. Because the montage was like going on for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and I was like, are there just no adults who care that the girl's crying? Well, actually, maybe in the early 90s that was true, so never mind. Maybe it might check out in that sense then. All right, never mind.
You got there. You worked it out. You got it.
It's all good. We're all there. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have, there's a moment where Flo's like, go beat the child, and thank God John Ritter's like, absolutely not. And then him and Junior have a little heart-to-heart, and he's like, anyway, let's go play Little League. And this is the Little League scene, and I fucking loved it so much. Because he listened to John Ritter, and this is the first time he stands up for John Ritter, like, outwardly, because all the children are like, your dad's a dweeb? What?
Oh, yeah.
Who talks like that, kids? But they all did, and then they all started, like, chanting it, and then Junior's like, he's not a dweeb. And I was like, upstand upstander. We love it. But don't be an upstander with bats, kids. Because then, things go downhill pretty quickly.
Well, and it also just kind of showed him, validating the fact that, wait, he's just not actually a mean kid.
Right.
He is just responding to how he's been treated.
Yeah.
And now that we see a good thing in his life, he's not actually a problem child. He just needs some motherfucking love.
He's a misdirected child.
That's
Bridge.
right. What is the psychological term for that? Okay.
He also needs some education on baseball terms, because this reminded me of you. I'm so sorry. He scores a home run and he goes, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Oh, Lord. Because it's the 90s and we're white people, we end up back at a church. I got real sweaty. We were going to do some weird exorcism moment. We don't. But it's so sad because Junior sneaks away, ends up in a confessional. Not the confessional, no. And John Ritter gets in there on the other side. He thinks he's talking to the priest, and he's like, I tried so hard, but I just don't think we can keep Junior. And I think we gotta give him up. And then Junior gets so sad.
So sad. That broke my heart.
He's so sad.
That broke my heart.
I was sad. I was upset.
Well, and I also kind of thought, I know this kid seems so tough, but to a point, he's still a kid.
He's still a guy. Got a little feelings.
Goodness.
So, as you do, you steal a car. And there's a fucking funny moment where John Ritter jumps on the roof of the car, and he's like, no, Junior, don't. But then Junior's like driving the car, and he's like, good job driving the car. He's like giving him positive reinforcement. I'm like, is that me if I'm trying to stop a kid driving a car? Probably. And again, nobody dies. Don't worry. No deaths. But there's, I guess, damage to the store that John Ritter's dad owns. And this leads to John Ritter losing all his life savings. Question mark.
It was one after the other in absurdities.
Yeah, it's not good. And then John Ritter has a moment where he's holding a pillow, and I got real sweaty about it. And he was like, looked like a crazy person, but somehow they all get saved because the serial killer shows up. What? How did that just...
He shows up, but then also almost kills them.
He has like sexy time with Flo. I was like, Flo? Pick a lane. Pick a fucking lane, Flo. You want a kid, but you don't want a kid. You like John Ritter, but you hate John Ritter. You love money, but you don't carry Lost Souls money. Where are we? I don't know.
You want to have dinner with the neighbors, but not be married. I don't know what's happening. What do you want, Flo?
Okay.
She very much was like our Flows,
just
for the
in
male
and out.
listeners. You're up, you're down, you're left or right. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know why I thought this, because I didn't remember much about this movie, but I was so curious if there was going to be some crazy, like, Shyamalan twist that Junior, his biological parents were actually Flo and the serial killer, but they gave him up and they, like, separated, and I thought that was going to be, like, the big twist, and I was going to be like, oh, that makes so much more sense. But they didn't do that at all. And instead, Flo and the serial killer hook up and elope, and then Junior goes too. And then the serial killer is like, oh, I have your son held ransom. And John Ritter first is kind of like, meh.
He's like, okay.
But then he's like, no, I gotta fucking save him. Mm-hmm. And what gets him back on the Junior train. This was again, Bridge, I thought of you. I thought of you a lot this movie. No offense.
No.
He's going through, like, Junior's room, and he's, like, looking at all these pictures, and Junior drew all these, like, very artistic drawings of people he didn't like that were, like, them getting beat up or silly things. But then he drew a nice, normal one of John Ritter. And John Ritter's like, oh my god, he loved me. It's like, and then he finds the prune. fucking prune.
The goddamn prune.
The fucking prune. So that's what does it. And we end up at a circus. I didn't ask for it, you know.
I hated the circus part, but I thought the ending was kind of funny in the sense of the drama that John Ritter gets shot.
Oh my god, it's so dramatic. And Junior's like, no. I was like, is this the General Hospital? What happened? I thought I was watching Problem Child. My god.
You start off and you're like, this kid has been so traumatized. And then he meets John Ritter and you're like, oh, it's a cloud of magic and rainbows and happiness. And then as the time goes on, you're like, oh, it's still hard, but John Ritter. Oh, it's still hard, but John Ritter. And then you're just like,
prune.
JK is continuous, intense, murderous drama. And then we end the movie. My goddamn god.
And I do just want to let y'all know, in case you were wondering, Flo might be dead, but we don't see her die. Last we see her, she's alive, but she's stuffed in a suitcase that gets on a car with pigs, and the last shot of the movie is close-up pig balls. That's right. Pig balls. And then the Beach Boys start singing a song called Problem Child. And I don't understand how we got there. Oh my fucking god.
The 90s were nuts.
Like, it was so good. I feel like if someone who was like Gen Z watched this, they would be like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, it was the 90s.
They're like, is that my bus? Is that how they got that way? I just feel like the 80s, as we know, made every parent stupid.
Yep.
And every kid knew everything better. And the 80s was so dark and all full of bullies. And the 90s were like, you know what? We're going to stick up to bullies. We're going to make John Ritter be a great parent. And you kind of were just looking back thinking, was he? Okay. Okay, we tried our best.
Almost mothered the child, but I guess he did get shot for the child.
He did it. He tried it. Okay.
Somehow we fucking did it. Man.
It was. You know, we did it, Kate. We did it.
Respect for John Ritter. Gone too soon. We could have had Problem Child. I don't know. How many did they do? They did a sequel to this, right?
They did a couple, but I've been reading about how, I guess at the time, he was like 11, and his parents were a little aggressive on his salary, so there's a lot of court battles with what he got paid, and I think that contributed to not a lot of sequels. There was one, I don't know, maybe there was 3, but I don't think there's like...
Problem Child 3, Junior in Love, and there's a man tied to a chair with a bag over his head. You know, I'm going to skip that one.
I hate that one. I hate it.
It's a no for me, dog. Wow. Holy shit.
God.
There was an animated series, Problem Child. It has a 3.9 out of 10.
Holy shit. Okay, wait. Watch it or don't watch it. What do you think? Because I brought it up. So what do you think?
I don't feel like I'm going to watch it again, but maybe it's worth a watch because it's like got some heart at some point. And I did laugh. There were parts I laughed at.
I mean, yeah, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm watching this again.
You are going to watch it again?
I don't know if I would.
I don't think I will either.
I think in my head I thought, I want to see that again. And now that I saw it, I'm like, it's okay.
You're like I'm good forever.
We summarized it for you all. It's okay. You know?
Yeah. And I do remember more from Problem Child 2 for whatever reason. I remember their carnival. I remember the girl wears like those shoes that she like stuffs.
Oh my god.
She like stuffs
scene.
them.
I thought the cockroach scene was in the first movie. It's in the second.
Oh yeah. You referenced that last time. Yeah, right.
Well, it is what it is, folks.
It's got a lower rating than the first one, so who knows. But wow. Well, Bridge, normally I would it would be my turn to do the next pick, but we have something very special happening next week. Listeners, next week will be our 200th episode!
We matched that! that?
Did
we matched that voice.
We'll see. I don't. Well, the editing's magic.
Okay. If you are a long-time listener, then you remember the Sissy Awards.
Hey.
It happened around the 100th episode, and then you listened all this time. Can you believe it? So 100 episodes later, we're gonna do another award show.
Yeah.
And I will make it up and finally put some effort in this podcast. Da-da-da-da-da.
Wow! What a song! That's Bridget original right there. Bridget contributes a lot to this podcast. Don't let her fool you.
A lot
My
today.
God.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, yes, so next week's going to be a very special episode. Please tune in for that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a surprise.
Woo!
I don't know what's going to happen,
No,
but it's going to be great, and I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Great!
So we'll see you there. And
Can't wait.
Bridge,
Yeah, yeah.
just want to say...
Yes,
Bridge, if
you...
what are you doing? If Mose is like, hey, I adopted a problem child, but everything's fine because I gave him a dehydrated prune, and maybe he was a little rambunctious and defiant, I would give, if you wanted, of course, always, only if you would like, I'd give you some professional recommendations, maybe some, activity books and, shit to do, and honestly, I know you guys would do great because you're great parents, and I would just say, hey, way to be, guys, and it's not for, that's not something I do for you, but that's just something you guys would do, and that's what I have to say about and that's the end of my
I enjoyed that. I was like, thank you. Please
How did
tell
that
me more.
end? Yep.
It's hard
Okay.
to be a
The ending
parent.
was a problem child for me. Yes.
Tell
right.
me how to be a better parent. Kate, and for you, I just want to let you know that if some motherfucking kid tries to mess with your future child, because I'm just gonna, it's just in this universe you have a future child.
Am I adopting the problem child? Okay.
No. Well, however you want to have a child, you'll have it. Period. Okay. And when that happens, and I am getting ready for you to tell me, oh, they were invited to a birthday party from a neighbor, and then we go, and that motherfucker tries to fuck with your kid.
Swear to God.
I'm about to throw some bitch over the
Swear to God.
I will play It's My Party, and I'll take your kid, aka my nephew, niece, and raise them up in the party, and I will just make them literally lead it and fight children for you.
Wow.
Is that appropriate?
Yeah.
Okay,
I love that.
Okay.
I was going to say, and I'll set off the garden sprinkler in the bedroom.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And listeners, if you also would be like John Ritter and be your kid's biggest cheerleader, they need that. Give them a hardened prune. Give them the positive reinforcement, even if they stole a car. They need it. All right? And if you think that every adult in this movie was a jerk, is a jerk, except John Ritter.
Yeah.
And
correct.
we should do the opposite of what all these adults do.
Absolutely. Definitely.
All the time.
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm.
And if you think that I feel like I usually do 3 of these, or maybe I get lost.
Okay.
If you think that Junior, I don't know, maybe he's an artist and we didn't we just didn't support his art enough.
Creative.
Maybe he needs his own YouTube prank show. I think he's got a lot of potential that we're not utilizing, and we need to open our eyeballs.
Correct.
Okay, and rethink things. And if you think all that, you should write us a review.
Hey!
We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts, along with some other podcasting apps. And we also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. On our website, you can request a movie. So there is a form you can fill out. Your request goes in a list, and we look at the list every now and then, and we will do it eventually. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
Give us money.
Woo!
It's not going to Junior, and it's not a fakey thing. He's not faking it. It's us. It goes to us.
It's
do
us.
that. Give us money. Give us merchandise, buy the merchandise, enjoy the merchandise, and we're all here to enjoy it. That's where we are. We're here to enjoy it. We love you.
We're here, yeah. So check all that out, listeners, and we hope to hear from you. All right, well, we'll see you next week for a special 200th episode. Woo! See you there. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswho'veseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.